episode 27 of the Backstage Knits podcast. My name is Catherine, and I'm coming at you from my apartment in beautiful downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Today is Saturday, May 13th, although it will probably be the 14th when I actually get around to uploading it. It's episode 27, let's see, thanks for watching. It's been a while since I've done this, so excuse the wrinkles in my brain, or the, yeah. You can find my Ravelry at Backstage Cat Knits. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast called the Backstage Knits Podcast, and I'm also on Instagram as Backstage Cath. So come check me out, say hello, and we'll chat about knitting. It'll be awesome. Let's see. I guess I'll just dive right in. I don't really have a good reason for why I haven't podcasted in a while. We were in London, and then we were back. Yeah. I don't know, I've been kind of in a knitting funk, haven't done a ton of knitting, so I don't have a lot to show for the length of time. I think it's been like 2 months. But yeah, we're just gonna get right into it, and it's gonna be awesome. I went to knitting club this morning, and everyone was like, you haven't done any more videos! Well, like 2 people. Well, 1 person was really like that. Hi, you know who you are. And so, yeah, I was just like, you know what, I was at knitting club, I saw all my friends who I hadn't seen in a long time, because I hadn't gone to knitting club in like 3 months, probably. So I decided I was going to podcast, so here we are. Let's see, I have 1 finished object, 2 works in progress, and too many acquisitions. But, oh well. Okay, so, yeah. So I guess technically I have 2 finished objects. One of them, the last time I podcasted, I was working on socks for my uncle, and I finished those, but I finished them like the night before I had to send them to him. So I only have like 1 like crotchety like cell phone light at 10 o'clock at night camera photo, but I'll stick it here for funsies. So anyway, I don't know why I did this, because like I can't like put an image on an image with, anyway. Yeah, so they turned out well. I hope they fit him. The end. No, I'm not gonna show it. Sorry, I just realized that I had another work in progress that I'm like sort of actively working on, but I'm not really actively working on, but it's a new one, so I'll just show it once I start to actively work on it more. Anyway, finished object. Guys, this is why you should go less than 2 months between your podcasting. I finished a pair of socks. I don't think I have shown these off on the podcast, and by finished, I mean I literally bound off the second one this morning at Knitting Club, and so these are not blocked or washed or anything, and clearly I have not woven the ends in yet, but man, I love how these look on screen. I like them on screen more than I do in person. So, these are vanilla socks, clearly. I actually brought these with me to England when we went, and started them there, but didn't really work on them that much. The yarn is from an Etsy dyer I found called CJ Knit. And the colorway is stained glass, and I don't know if this base has a name, but does that say 8520 or 8? I think 8020 superwash merino nylon. Hopefully you can see that better than I can. There we go. 400 yards to the ground. So the reason I brought it to England was because I'm one of those nerdy people who likes to try to match things. So, my mom is a retired pastor, so when we travel, especially in Europe, like the one time my family's done it prior to this, we went to a lot of churches, and so I knew that we were kind of planning to go to a lot of churches, so I brought these stained glass colorway socks. Anyway, didn't really work on that. I think I maybe got to like here in England, and I knit them toe up, so not much. But yeah, this yarn is really cool. It pulled in very different ways. It's pretty similar on the foot, but then on the first sock I did, I must have changed my gauge, and so I got some weird other different pooling over here. And then this one stayed pretty consistent. Fish Lips Kiss Heel, I do 68 stitches, and these were on US 1.5, which I am realizing is too loose of a gauge. It was a little bit thicker, plumper sock yarn, so I went up, but they fit. They're just slightly loose. So I am realizing that I probably want to stick with US 2.25 millimeter needles for socks from now on. I did some number of ribs. I didn't really count 2x2 rib. I knit them toe up, so I basically just tried to knit the leg until I got to like where the toe decreases started, and then knit in the rib basically until I got to the toe, and this one came a little bit short, but I got lazy and didn't feel like doing more ribbing, so. Anyway, those are those. Not much more to say. They're very soft. I guess technically they're not a finished object because I this and blocked, but we're counting it, so the end. This is the reason I finished these at Knitting Club. Like, that was my goal for Knitting Club, was to come in and have these done by the time I left. And it took me most of the Knitting Club, but I got them done, and so that was my other impetus for podcasting today, because I actually had something finished to share, and not just like random works in progress and acquisitions to add to my ever-growing stash because I don't knit fast enough for it. I am very excited about my next acquisition. First of all, just a reminder of how awesome this bag is. This is a Stitch by Jessa Lou bag, who I love, and it has Dr. Horrible quotes on it, and I am obsessed with Dr. Horrible, and I love this bag. So, that's awesome. But as awesome as that bag is, what is even more awesome is what is inside the bag. You guys, look at what I have. Look at what I have. This is an Andre Sunit sock blank. I have been obsessed with these since she started dyeing them, and I never caught an update. And I was at Stitches last weekend, 2 weekends ago. Andre Sunit. She's awesome. Follow her on Instagram if you don't. And I was at Stitches, and I guess she sells some of them like wholesale to, or what's the word? She stocks them. I don't even know what's the terminology, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, she sells them to the yarn store. I forget the name of the yarn store, but it's like a big yarn store in New Jersey. I'd heard of it, and I think I follow them on Instagram, but it's just not coming to my mind right now, and I don't have a bag or anything. Anyway, so she sold it to them, so they were selling some at Stitches United in Hartford when I was there a few weeks ago, and I was able to snag, there was like 2 or 3 left on Saturday when I got there. Oh, you guys, I'm so happy. Oh, it is gorgeous. Like, it's like one of those things, like, you almost don't want to, let me hold it up, like, you can kind of see the peacock, right? I almost don't want to knit with it. It's so pretty, but I'm going to, and I have, and it's, oh no, see, I started pulling from the wrong end, and now I don't know how to, like, keep it from unraveling. But I guess I'm just going to roll it up. So, pause for effect while I do a bit of this here. So, what else can you do with a sock blank as awesome as this as make socks? So, that is what I am going to do. Hop, 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 hop. Okay, so I started this today. So, I just have basically the toe in like one round done. So not much to see yet, but you can kind of see the beginnings of the first peacock there. So I'm just going to do a vanilla toe, 68 stitches, US 2.25 millimeter needles. These are my Hayas, and I just cannot wait to see how it turns out. This is my second time knitting from a sock blank. The first one was a really beautiful rainbow. I talk about it in some other episode. I forget which it is, but yeah, I really like just like the color shifts seem so like cool and natural, and it's so unique and interesting, and I really cannot wait to see how these turn out. I am so excited about it. It's gonna be great. So thank you, Andy, for being such a brilliant artist. These are really amazing. In awe of her talent. Really, really, go check her out if you haven't. She's amazing. Okay, so the only other thing I have is my sweater. I just picked up work on this again recently. I hadn't really worked on it for a while. I think when I podcasted, I was someplace in this whole nonsense. I'm gonna go put a stitch marker now while I'm thinking about it. I was someplace in the middle of the A-line section, and as you can see, I've gotten a bit done, but I'm not stressing out about completing this project. I will work on it as I work on it, and it will be summer when I finish this giant wool sweater. I started in January, but it's going to be what it's going to be. This is probably the third or fourth time I've talked about it, so I'll be quick. It's the Caspian by Jared Flood. I'm knitting it on Valley Yarn Northampton in the Green Heather colorway. Great yarn, beautiful like heathery color. You can kind of see it, not going to try to focus in. And I'm doing it in the needle sizes as recommended in the pattern, and I'm making the second largest size, in case you care. So yeah, I have the back done. This is the beginning of the front. And so I'm like probably past the halfway point on this sweater now, if you think about like total amount of yardage, or maybe just about at the halfway point. But yeah, so again, once I get the front done though, it's just sleeves, but there is a lot of cabling, so it goes a little slowly. I enjoy doing it, it's just some of it goes slowly. Alright, well those 10 minutes is all I have for like actual knitting content. Like I said, I haven't been doing a whole lot of knitting, but I'm trying to get back into it. Yeah, so, acquisition section. My friend at Knitting Club told me today that because she doesn't really buy yarn, she does a lot of like thrifting and exchanges, and that she likes to live vicariously through my acquisition section. So I hope I give you a lot to live vicariously through today. Now, granted, this is like 2 or 3 months, and by 2, it's 2 months of acquisitions. So here we go. Oh no! Apparently my bag was caught on my camera. Okay, good enough. So, I mentioned many times that I was studying for my CPCU, Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter, 8 tests. I finally passed the last one. I was going to try to save that for my life section, but it's relevant to what we're talking about now, so, I did it. I had to take like 6 of them more than once, but whatever, I passed it, I did them all, I have letters, I have a diploma, it is super exciting. Okay, so, like one of the Saturdays, I don't even remember when it was, or I was like, so part of the reason I like studying is I can't study in my apartment, I just get too distracted. Like there's knitting, there's food, I can't do it. So I would go to the library at night and study. Sometimes the Hartford Library, although they don't have a lot of good like study spaces there. So I would go to random places. And so one Saturday I was like, let me just drive to Branford. It's like a half-hour drive, but there were some good coffee shops. I was like, okay, I'll sit, whatever. So on the way back, I noticed, I was like, there's a couple of yarn stores sort of on my way back. Let me do my own like little mini yarn crawl. So the first one I went to was the Yarn Basket in Branford. Okay, you can't see that. Okay, so yarnbasket.com in Branford. And they had a pretty good selection in there. It was a fairly large size shop, and they had a lot of selections, international yarns. So things from Australia, things from England. So that was really cool. So I decided to pick up a skein of stripy sock yarn from Viking of Norway. And I think this is a little bit thicker. It's 25% superwash. I don't know what UII means, but that's what it is, and 25% nylon. So just your standard kind of sock yarn. There's really cool like periwinkle and purple and gray striping. So I'll make socks out of this one day. I have so much yarn that I'm like, I'll make socks one day. Really need to get faster about knitting, because I'm trying to be better about purchasing yarn, but I still like to buy yarn. So, and then there was a yarn in Wallingford, which was sort of on the way back. So I'd actually purchased this brand before. I wasn't as impressed with the yarn store in Wallingford as the one in Brantford, mostly just because they didn't have a lot of sock yarn. And that's usually when I go to yarn stores, like that's what I like to buy, because it's just like one skein gets the job done, and I know I'll wear it and use it, and like there's so many brands that like you can usually find something pretty unique. So anyway, but this is the Zephyr Designs, which is hand painted at the yarn store, and this label is still going two directions and it drives me crazy. So you might recognize this. I bought, not this skein, but this brand. I bought, it was like a white with like black speckles, and I put it in my, what's the name of that shawl that Sarah designed? I don't remember the name of the shawl, but I did it as test knit for Sarah of Nitty Nerdy and Natural Impasto shawl. Anyway, so this is the super sheet fine fingering. I believe it was the same base, and this is the colorway Neptune, which is just this beautiful like cyan and navy with some like orangey speckles, which I thought was really kind of unique and interesting. So I clearly have a color palette, because you're gonna see yarn a little bit later and you're like, really, Catherine? So that's my little mini, I guess, southwestern Connecticut, southern Connecticut yarn crawl. And then, like the Sunday, or the weekend after I passed, no, because that was when we were in some weekend, I decided I was just going to do a day trip. I think it was actually after we got back from London, but, so, whatever. I was going to take a day trip up to Concord, New Hampshire, which ended up kind of being a bit of a bust. One of the things I wanted to do was go to the Mary Baker Eddy house up there. Mary Baker Eddy is the founder of Christian Science, and my dad grew up Christian Science, and my grandmother and my dad's brother, my uncle and his family, are still heavily involved in the Christian Science church. So it's kind of like part of my family's history, and TripAdvisor informed me that it was open. But what TripAdvisor did not inform me, or perhaps I did not notice, was that it's only open like to the public like starting in May or April. Maybe it was like the last weekend in March that I was up there, and it's only open to the public starting in April. And it's like, call ahead for a tour, and I had not done that because I woke up at 8 o'clock. I was like, where am I going to go today? Concord, New Hampshire. So that was kind of a bust, but there was a yarn store in Concord, so I went there. And I picked up two skeins of Quince & Co. This is the Chickadee, which is their DK weight, 100% wool. Let's see, does this bag have a name on it? The name of the yarn store was the Elegant U in Concord. I think it was on Main Street, or the Main Street if it's not called Main Street. So we have the colorway Twig, which is the brown, and Shell. So I just love how these go together. This is 100 grams of DK weight. I don't think I can make a shawl or a scarf out of that, but no, I don't think I can. Maybe a hat. This would look really pretty as a hat, I think. So maybe like a nice like colorwork hat. I'll try to find a pattern for. So this would look good. Maybe this is a good brioche hat. There's an easy brioche hat that uses DK weight. Maybe I'll look for that, because I think that would look really cool. Like I really like brioche when it's like variegated and solid, but I feel like this would also look really cool. Thoughts? Okay, so there's that. And then we went to London, and I mentioned this in my last podcast, but I think I said that like my family allowed me to go to knit night at Loop, or was going to allow me. We hadn't gone at that point, but they were very nice, and they let me go to my yarn knit night, and they just walked around Islington and hung out and did some stuff. So I hung out at Loop for like an hour and a half and met some really nice people and just hung out and knitted on my socks and chatted, and it was great. But of course I had to buy something from Loop. Oh, and when you buy things, I don't know if it's a certain price or when you buy anything or whatever, but I got this bag, and this is where my sweater is living in. It's actually the perfect size for a sweater, so it's good because I don't need to have the front of my sweater just like hanging out in my room someplace, because it's just kind of like sitting on my chair, like awkwardly taking up space. So there's that. So I picked up 2 skeins of the Uncommon Thread BFL Light DK in the colorway Olive Leaf. It's this beautiful, like, kind of greeny gray, and I really like it a lot. And so I'm going to make some sort of shawl, because I really like all my shawls, but I feel like I want more neutral colored shawls just because they're easier to wear to work and stuff. So I do have one printed out pattern that I bought that calls for 2 skeins of DK weight, which I might make. Although it's a little bit, it's not very light and airy, and I don't know. So if you come across or are fond of some brilliant lacy shawls that have 2 skeins of DK weight, let me know. The pattern I have, and I meant to bring it over, but I forgot. It's called Scafflock, and it's really pretty, but it's very like dense. I think it uses like flip stitches, so I thought I might want something a little bit lighter. I'm kind of in that. I might just make again, although I don't like to make patterns twice. The Pebble Beach shawl, I made that with 2 skeins of sport weight, so I could probably make the medium, and I think I had a good chunk left over, so I could probably make the medium size with 2 skeins of DK, right? And it would still be good. Might just do that again. And then we come to 2 weeks ago and to Stitches United, which I was very excited about because it was within walking distance, and I loved the idea of just like walking to purchase my yarn, and I was so happy. And it kind of was sad because my friend who usually goes to yarn things with me, she's a crocheter, was working on, she's back in school, and so she had some schoolwork to do, so she wasn't able to go. So I went by myself, which was fine, but it's good. So that again is where I bought the sock blank. So I went a little crazy, but also not awful. But also, I have too much yarn. But it could be worse, right? It could always be worse. So the first thing I bought was from White Birch Fiber Arts. And this is the Rainbow Warrior colorway, and this is self-striping. So it's a rainbow with a lightly tonal gray. And so it's like a rainbow against a cloudy sky. And I actually had seen this, not just this skein, but this dyer when we went to the New England sheep. No, I can't remember the new one at the Big E. I've gone twice the past 2 years. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to buy it. Like, it's nice. Do I really need more self-striping yarn? So like I waffled and waffled and waffled, and I ended up not buying anything from her in November. But then I saw it in April. I was like, you know what? No. I saw it there, and I'm gonna buy it again because I really liked it, and the colors are just so bright and vibrant, and maybe I'll knit these in June for Pride Month. These can be my Pride rainbow socks this year. So, actually that's a good idea. I just said that like on the fly. I had not thought about that, and I really like that idea. So, potentially Pride socks. I was knitting these, and my friend was like, ooh, Pride socks, and I was like, well, I guess. I'm like, I didn't do it to do that, but sure. Maybe I will also learn, I've been meaning to learn the Afterthought heel. This could be a good task. Hello. Anyway, so yes. I said although because I think I have some just plain gray fingering weight, which might look good as heels, toes, and cuffs on this. And I might not need to do an afterthought. So, anywho, there's that. And then, oh wait, is this the yarn store in New Jersey where I got, yes, Do You Knit? I had the business covered, woohoo. So this is where the stall at which I bought the Andres Units sock blank, so. It seemed like from the size of the stall, this is probably a pretty popular yarn store, but just in case you don't know about it, there it is. I'll keep that in there for now. And then I found this. This is Molly Girl, who I'd heard really good things about. And this is the colorway, this is the Rockstar, which is her worsted base. It's about 220 yards of 100% superwash merino. And this is the colorway Dance Rascal Dance. That's upside down. And what drew me to this is, see that little green thing? Whenever my computer feels like focusing, you can see it says, it's like business in the front, party under black, or something like that. And this responds under black light. And it's like really impressively, there's other colorways that were like much different, but I was kind of liking, I'm kind of on a DK kick right now. Oh, this is worsted, isn't it? But I kind of was looking for something, yeah, this is worsted. I was kind of looking for something a little bit thicker. So this is beautiful, just cream base with like all these neon speckles. So I'm actually thinking I might make a stuffy out of this and give it to my friends who have 2 young kids. I think they would dig that. I'm thinking about maybe, I think it's called Voodoo You Love, by somebody who makes a lot of stuffies. I'm blanking on her name right now, but I think they would kind of dig that. Yeah, so that's the current plan for this. I would love to make a hat for myself, but I wouldn't really wear it out. Alright, sorry for that random cut, but this is called the camera, stops recording at 30 minutes, and I was inking up upon that time, so I wanted to just stop while I was having a moment, and that like it ends my recording annoyingly. So, and then the last thing I got was someone I've been following on Instagram for a while, and just someone that was like, I really want to buy it, but I'm trying to like be good about not just buying things randomly, because I think I've said this before, but my thing that I've been much better at in 2017 is not just randomly buying yarn. Like, obviously I buy a lot of yarn, but like, it's sort of all like connected to something for me, right? Like, yeah, okay, I probably didn't need to go on the Southern Connecticut Catherine's Own yarn crawl bit. Those were probably extraneous. But like, I went to Concord, New Hampshire for a day, and I have a memory from that. And like, I went to London, and I went to Stitches, and so like, I feel like I've been successful this year, and not just like buying things because I see them on Instagram and they look lovely. And not that I've regretted any of those purchases, but just like, in order to save money, and again, I am a slow knitter, so I have that, that thing, the black and gray things. There are 6 bins in there that are completely filled with yarn, and they're like starting to get to the overflowing point. So I just am trying to be slightly better, and I'm not really succeeding, but I am in that I feel like I'm succeeding in that everything I buy is sort of like, even if I don't have an intentional project for it, which I should, it has a specific intentional memory to me. So I feel like that's slightly better. So anyway, this is Primrose Yarn Co. And this is their Luscious Sock, which is a 4-ply fingering, 80-20 blend. And this is the colorway Magic Hat, which, surprise, surprise, is teal and blue and flecks of navy. And Yeah, I really need to stop buying yarn in this palette. Although I got the, oh my god, Knit Picks, yeah. I got the Knit Picks catalog, and there's these really cool socks that look like they call for, that they would be really pretty in like two skeins that are similar but different enough. It's, maybe I'll see if I can find it, and maybe I'll put a picture here. So, they're like two skeins of, or two socks, oh my god. Two yarns that like kind of are similar but different enough so that like there's like some like slip stitches and cables and things, so I think I might buy that pattern. And I have like 3 or 4 skeins that are sort of this palette, and I think if I could find 2 that like would look nice together in that palette. I also thought about trying to do a find your fade with some of these, but I feel like I can't really wear these shawls to work, and since I am at work a good majority of my life, like, yeah. So anyway, that is it for yarn acquisitions. Deb, I hope that was a good amount of acquisitions for you and you're living vicariously. Yeah, so life, big thing was past my CPCU. I went to London. My family had a really good time. My sister was sick towards the end, which kind of stung for all involved, but we had a really nice time. We saw 2 shows, both of which were amazing. We saw The Mousetrap. My family is giant Agatha Christie nerds, so it's the longest running play ever. We saw like I think it was the 26,812th performance or something crazy like that. Maybe I'm adding a digit in there. Anyway, it's been running since like 1957 or something ridiculous like that. So that was really cool to see. And then we saw, so that we had planned to see. Like we bought tickets in advance. And then we were on the bus to one of the churches that we were going to see. Surprise, surprise. And we just saw a sign like, much ado about nothing. And we're like, oh my god, we gotta go see it. So we ended up seeing it. It was the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was amazing and hilarious, and the guy playing Benedict was just so good. The Beatrice was like, eh. The guy playing Benedict was amazing, and my favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes in all of theater, is the scene where, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. The older guy, Hero's father, and Don Pedro and Claudio are like convincing, or they're like, they know Benedict's around, so they're talking about how much Beatrice loves him to like try to get them together, right? And if you see the 1990s movie with Kenneth Branagh, like that scene is like hilarious, but they set this play in like, I think it was post World War I, in like an English country house. It might have been post World War II, I don't really remember, but post World War something. I think it was one. And it was Christmas time, and so like they had him hiding in like a tree, and then like he like kept electrocuting himself, and oh my god, it was just, I was dying. So that was probably my favorite thing that we did. I really liked the British Museum. We saw a lot of churches. Honestly, it was all kind of a blur. But it was really nice, even though my sister was sick, to have the 4 of us together. We used to travel all the time as a family, and just, we're busy people, you know, as my sister and I have gotten older. So it was just really nice to have that family time, and it was kind of celebrating my parents' retirement. They both retired, so it was great. It was great. So since I've been back from England, I haven't really been doing much of anything. I finished my CPCU test. I passed my last test on the Thursday, and we left on the Tuesday. So yeah, it was really good. I haven't been doing much of anything, just work has been a little bit nuts. I've been going to a lot of sporting events, if you follow me on Instagram. So the Hartford Yard Goats are our new AA Yes, AA team in Hartford, and they opened up the stadium this year, and so I actually sang with my work chorale on the second opening day. Like, opening day was the day before we sang, right? So we sang the national anthem, and I've been to 2 games since with various people, and it's a lot of fun. And I went to a Connecticut Sun preseason game, and I'm going with my parents tonight for opening night to celebrate their birthday. So just enjoying sports, enjoying Hartford living. I saw Next Normal at Theater Works, which I guess just got extended through this weekend again, because it was a fantastic show. It's a little bit hard. It's not an easy show, but it was incredibly well done. Very, very talented performers. And yeah, Easter happened. It was a very, very busy Easter for churchy things. I think on Easter Sunday we sang 3 hymns and 4 anthems, or 4 hymns and 3 anthems. Some crazy amount of music that was just like exhausting. So anyway, life's been good. I'm getting back into knitting, and so it's all good. So thank you all for listening to me babble. This feels like the right length for an episode for me, but yeah, so hope you've enjoyed my delayed re-entrance back into the podcasting world. It wasn't as long as my previous hiatus of like 6 or 7 months, so we'll get there. But thank you again for watching, if you've stuck around, for all of these babblings that I do, and I hope you're having a great day and that wherever you are, you enjoy what you're knitting. Talk to you soon. Bye.